people have to make the decision on their own. Like, for real. And if they don't want to change, and maybe like you said, like, you're going to eventually change, but it might not be with me, but you're going to eventually change. And it's like, damn.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Limitless conversation. Welcome back. Welcome back. As y'all can see today, I have a guest. I got my good sis on the show. Welcome, Talani, Dr. Talani, Empress Royalty.
Hi, guys.
Period. If y'all ever followed me on Instagram, then y'all have seen her because me and her was OG doing. I feel like Limitless conversations really started on my lives, and then when me and sis was in our bag, we was on live. Like, was we doing every week or every
other week or every week? At one point, it was every week. It was every Wednesday or Tuesday.
We was doing it. We was in our big bag, and those were some good freaking lives. So of course, I had to bring her on the podcast. But anyway, what I was about to say to her, but I just entered the podcast was she made me get into my fairy bag today a little bit because normally I like my makeup to be like browns, a little eyeliner sometimes. But for some reason today I woke up and at first my makeup today was like blue. I was like, I'm gonna do blue. And then I like filmed the podcast episode. Now I'm filming this one. I'm like, but I still want to do like these shimmery colors. So I looked at her and I'm like, you got metallic on your eyelashes? I feel like it's her energy. Like we knew the universe knew she was gonna be here today, so it was like this is the vibe we're on today. She even got me in my tribal vibes, today. So yes, welcome to the podcast, sis.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do. I specifically made sure that we did not talk about nothing until she got here, and I feel like we have not caught up in a very long time.
We haven't. It's been a minute. We've been bits and pieces, but it's been a minute.
It's been a really long since we had like a good like long
conversation.
Like I don't even know where I last was when we last talked. Like I don't even know where my catch up was started. I don't even know what I was talking about last time.
Moving here.
When I first moved here? That was like 6 months ago. Wow. It has been a really long time. So, all right, so we're going to just jump right into the catch up. And so I kind of don't know if I want you to just go into what's been going on or versus like she was just sitting here in her cards. And she said the cards was really telling a message, telling a thing. I feel like that'll just go with the catch up. If we could just talk about what you were getting from like your conversation that you just had with your guides in spirit.
All right, so the last card I pulled was hydrate. And it was interesting because you came out and he's like, hey sis, you want some water?
Literally.
And I'm like, okay, God. But it's been telling me like speak to my water and just start speaking positive affirmations into the water. And then another card that I pulled was something about I control my reality. Like the things I speak out my mouth, I make happen. And I'm just like, okay. Then my other card was the Ten of Swords, and it was just talking about like betrayal and me trying to figure me out and knowing that I'm in the right place and I just need to start moving. It was so many different cards that was from different decks because y'all she gave me some. I got boxes of decks, like at least 7 or 8 decks.
It was funny, and she was like, I'm using this deck or whatever, and I was like, I don't know what that she's talking about. I never used that. And then when I looked, I said, no, that's the deck that Spirit be when Spirit trying to yell at me about something. That's the deck right there. When Spirit got something to say, gotta fuss a little bit. So okay, so you said you had put out one of the same cards twice, was it the Ten of Wands or something?
Yep, Ten of Swords.
Ten of Swords. And what was I'm gonna fix this gonna bother me. It's like a little cricket. Okay. Boom. What do you remember what the card was about? You want to reach off and get it? Okay, you can reach off and get it. That's cool. She's gonna reach off and just grab the card. But as I was getting ready, I'm gonna just catch up on what was happening. As I was in the bathroom, like getting ready, she was going through all the decks, and she was in here pulling cards, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, She just having all these like moments, and I was like, I was like not really responding when I was in the bathroom, not because I wasn't listening, but I was really wanting to talk about it when we got here. Oh, perfect.
There we go.
Okay, it was 8 of Cups.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not easy to admit that something you have invested time into just won't work. Walking away can be painful. Unfortunately, the problem is that if you don't walk away now, you will only make it worse when everything eventually comes crashing down on top of you. Staying will only bring you sustained pain. Leaving will hurt, but the pain will only be temporary.
Chills.
Mm.
Chills.
And that was that's that's been where I've been at, is choosing to leave a situation that I know isn't healthy for me, but also choosing what's best for me. And that's where I've been at. It's like it's comfortable to stay where I'm at, but at the same time it's like I know that God is like telling me, "Hey, Talani, go over here." Then even like with my family, um close family, trying to help them out, it's been hard because it's been like I've been getting pulled so much. Just like, come here, come help me here. And I'm just like, I want to go help you here, but at the same time, I'm ready to start. I'm ready to push forward. I'm ready to venture out. And it does hurt. Like, it hurts like hell because I've gotten so comfortable and I've stayed in something so long that now I have no choice but to step out of it. So yeah. These calls, y'all, is very interesting. And I was pressed to get him because she told me, like, what was that, like 2-3 weeks ago? He was like, I got some cards for you. And I was geeking to get him. So
so when she got here, she was going to town on it.
Yes.
And I was saying that 8 of, what was it, 8 of cups? Yeah, you know, if you don't remember, it's okay. But the one that she just read, that is like, I know for me in my journey, that has been like one of my lessons as well. At a point, is as far as like, once you invest time in something, especially a long periodically time in something, it's like you want to see it through. Like you don't want. I'm trying to even recall the last time I kind of experienced that. Because I feel like I experienced it in my last official relationship, but I don't think it was as much as that, because I feel like I'm actually experiencing almost the opposite of it right now. Almost in the sense that I just got out of like relationship situationship. And so now having not been in that anymore, and I was in that for like a little bit over a year and some change, probably. At this point, I'm kind of like realizing that with like, you know how like I feel like for females, right? We get into a relationship and we think I'm gonna just give him time. I'm gonna just give him time, but like in the beginning, we have these feelings that maybe it's not the like right choice, but it's like we want to allow them space to change. And so now, having gotten out of that situation, not because this person is a bad person, like I still love him, have a lot of love for him and respect for him. But now having got out of it, I realized that for me, I won't say for all women, but I do feel like for women, a lot of times giving more time is actually more hurtful for us, because it's almost like it's giving us more time to just sow our feet deeper into the situation, making it even harder to leave. Yeah. And I feel like that was one of my big fears in that relationship, and that connection was like, I was very strategic not to be like, not strategic, that sounds like a bad word. I was mindful, because not strategic, but I was mindful not to get into a relationship dynamic, even though it was giving very much relationship. But I was mindful not to commit unless I knew, because I know me, and I know like if I commit to something, I'm going to want to stay in it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to commit, because then I feel like I have more room to still explore. I still have room to leave if I want to. But I mean, time goes on, and it was like a year. I'm like, bruh, it's been a year. And I know like I'm a relationship girl. I will look up and 5 years will pass by or whatever, and then I'll know like I'm not happy in this situation. So I think that for me, like post being out of that dynamic, I've like kind of decided like I think I'm gonna have a time limit almost dating going forward, because I feel like with women we're intuitive. So it's like when we first go into it, we know we have the answer from the very beginning. But what happens is with time, we try to change our minds basically, and I end up doing really good at it. And then the thing is, our spirit always knows what we want. So at some point, our spirit's gonna wake up and be like, okay, but I know you found a way to be happy there, but that's not really what you want. You really want this. And it's like reminds you, and this has to agonize you. And then you kind of have to jump.
And then too, another thing I think, like, especially like for me, when spirit tells me, like, spirit to give always gives the warnings, but then it becomes like, for me, after a while I stop respecting a person because I become irritated. It's like, I don't, my spirit's irritated, it doesn't want to be here. So it's like the respect level, from especially for me, it goes out the window. And it's like, I don't value that person the same anymore either, because it's like, you're not moving the way I need you to move, and you're not doing anything for me right now. I'm waiting for you to change because I know this part is in you, but you're not doing it for me.
Because one thing about a woman, we're going to see potential. We're going to see a lot. And this doesn't mean that what I've learned about potential is like that, like we can see things that you could be this. But something that like I got was like that potential doesn't mean it's going to be actualized. And the thing that I feel like sometimes can seem like it sucks is that person, like for example, in my last relationship, I totally think he's going to hit his potential, but I also totally think I couldn't be there while he did it. So it's like, as much as like I care about you and love you, I feel like me leaving is gonna be the thing, or it's gonna be a part that's gonna force you into being that thing. But me, like, because the women, we can nag, like we can get really naggy. So like, I was getting a little naggy. So it's like I know that me nagging is not even helping you. It's not even moving you towards that. So as much as I want to like push you because I can see this in you and like I want this for you, I can't make you be that. And then also, like, for me, I have to honor, from my journey personally, I'm like, I realize that I have to stop trying to make something that doesn't fit.
God damn. No, like, you stepping on all my toes over here. I'm just like, God damn, no, for real. Because, like, not even to cut you off, but
yo, go for it.
That's one of the things that my ex told me. Like, it was like, Tony, you nag. Like, nagging, you think you keep nagging at me. If you see I ain't did it yet, you think that you coming at me this way is going to make me do it. It's not. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And I'm just like, God damn it. But how do you, like, and it's like, you know what? You're right. Like, can't keep trying to make something fit that just doesn't want, like, people have to make the decision on their own. Like, for real. And if they don't want to change, and maybe like you said, like, you're going to eventually change, but it might not be with me, but you're going to eventually change. And it's like, damn. But I wanted you to change because I thought,
yeah, like, but I wanted it to be for me.
Yes,
like don't you love me? You said that you love me. Wow. Why are you not doing this? No. And for me and my dynamic, my last relationship, it's like the thing is, he would try. I don't know if that was just him, but he would try. But no matter how much he tried, it still wouldn't be enough. Like, it still wouldn't be enough. And like, I got to where I'm like, that is just so not fair of me to like if I know this, and as much as you're trying, I almost felt like I was hurting more. So, like, I was hurting him more to just stay there and keep being like, well, I know you're trying, but it's still not enough. Like, I'm like, that's not, to me, from my like situation, like, that wasn't fair. Because it was just that what you were doing just wasn't what I wanted. And like, it's enough, but it's just not enough it's just different than what I want. Like, it's enough for maybe whoever is supposed to be next for you, but it's just not enough for me. I can be talking about relationships here, y'all, because I be trying to not talk about that because because the thing is, I know he watches this too, and so it's such a sensitive thing because I still have such a respect for him. Like, so it's like, I'm like, I don't want to ever offend him, but like, this is, I mean, so it's like, this is my experience in it though too. Like, this was my part in the situation. I can't speak to his story. I can only speak to mine. So yeah, investing time into things and I mean, and like you said, your situation is a lot different because you said 15. That's 15 years is a very long time.
It is.
15 years is a very long time.
But in that long time, even it's a lot. It's different, but then it's not, because it became the same cycles of doing the same thing over and 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 over again. And me knowing that I'm not happy, me knowing that I don't feel secure in my relationship, me knowing that the things that I want, unfortunately, this is all he can give. to me, but it was still like, okay, well, making good money, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's still providing, but there was parts of the soul aspect of me that wasn't fulfilling. And even to this day, even now, I can spell it out on the wall. And no offense if you ever watch this. No offense if you ever watch this. Right. But I could literally spell it out on the wall, and it still wasn't, he wasn't catching. And God just was like, God really was talking to me, but I wasn't trying to hear it. It was like, like, that was your one at that moment. But now, you've grown, Talani. And that's the part where it's like that time where I become scared, and the nervous part, and it's like me wanting to stay. Because it's like, dang, that was my one. But now I feel like I'm becoming my own one so that I can experience the next one that I know I don't have to beg. I don't have to show how to do anything. I don't want to show anybody how to love me. Like, and that's where I've been at too lately. I've been not even just relationship wise, but people around me. I've been showing them how to love me, because people only know how to love you based off of them and how they know how to love. But I've been showing people that lately too, and I've been seeing that's another reason I'm like, all right, time don't mean nothing. Time don't mean nothing. It doesn't. It doesn't. Dang, you just struck so many different nerves just talking. I'm just over here like, what in the world? Because it really makes you sit and think like, dang, as much pressure I've been putting on this person, I need to look at myself and see for me, like, dang, what have I been doing with this? Wow. That's why I love our talks. Because they're really interesting a lot of the times. And it's like, Sean is my life coach. I tell anybody that all the time. That's my life coach. Because I can talk to her about stuff, and she'll ask me, like, she'll make things make sense a lot of the times. Just you talking. I'm like,
I don't be trying to coach. We just be talking. Because, like, a lot of things, like, we can relate over. So, like, y'all been together for 15 years, but, like, my person was, like my first love, my first person. Like, we were together, like, 5 years in high school. And, and then we, like, I feel like in my mind, he was always, like, my what if in a way. So even though we broke up, it's like, that was my first. So there was always this love, like, I have for him. And my uncle told me this. He was like, be careful who you, like, give your virginity to, because, like, that person's always going to have access to you.
God damn. No.
I don't know if that just planted some kind of seed or if that's really true. Y'all can let us know. But he told me that. And so even though me and him broke up and, like, we dated other people, I dated other people, he won't admit it, so I can't speak for his story, but I'll say for me, like, it was always still like, well, what if we tried again? And, like, there's always this love that I still have for him and still have for him. But us having given it another try now, like really giving another try, it's like I'm at the point where it's like, I know that I love you and have so much love for you, but also this isn't the right fit for me right now. Like, you were the perfect fit for that time. And I think for me, even like when we were dating, I realized that a lot of what we loved so much about each other, it was funny because I asked him this question. I said, if we never, like, if we say we weren't together when we were younger, like we didn't have that, but you just met me as an adult, I just met you as an adult, do you think we would have this same kind of, like, connection? And both of us were like, I don't think so. Like, if we didn't have this history, I don't think that we would still connect in the same way that we do now. And it was that conversation that really allowed me to see a lot of what we had was just built off of the past. It was built off of nostalgia, but it wasn't built off of who we were as adults and grown-ups now. Like, we 10 years, 6-7 years later, like, this connection is not based on, like, the Sean that is the woman Sean, this is based off Sean, the teenage girl. And, like, maybe that's why it felt really good, because it had that nostalgic and that, like, youthful feeling to it or whatever. But yeah, now I feel like it is that's why I say every period is beneficial, because like it was, because I feel like if we never would have tried, I still would have always wondered. Like I still would have always been like, well, what I could have, even if my God bought me my husband, I feel like I still kind of would have been like,
The
well,
back of your
what,
mind.
it would have still been in the back of my mind. Like, well, what if we gave it a try? What could it be? You know what I mean? So I honor that we try, even though in the beginning I feel like I had the inkling of like, Sean, I don't know. I don't know. But I was like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. We're gonna just go through and see what it's like. So I'm glad that we did at least try, because I feel like for me, I know it definitely at least scratched that itch of the what if, so that now I feel like I can wholeheartedly, I like that word, wholeheartedly move forward. Because I feel like a little bit of my heart was still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of my heart was still there. So
And I think that's too why we can relate so much, because he was my first too. Like the guy that I've been with for past 15 years, he was my first. And I remember it wasn't even an inkling in my head that said don't do it. It was my coach. Shout out to Coach Greg, my boxing coach.
That's the whole name. Shout out to Coach Greg.
He was like, don't do it. No. But I'm 11, 12 years old. I was 11 when I first met him.
Wow.
And I remember me just wanting that love and trying to feel like my dad was gone out of my life. So I always tried to fill the void of, even though I had a stepfather, that, no offense, he wasn't the dad figure that I desired or needed. And he knew eventually along the line, like he wasn't holding up to the standards in which he should have been as a stepdad. But when it came to like relationships with guys, like I remember when I met my first, I was geeked over him.
And 11 and 12 is so
young.
That's very young.
My virginity was 13 gone.
Well, I wasn't even talking about that. I was like, he was your impression.
That was my impression. So like now that we've gotten older, and even for him to even see me as a woman, I feel like, I could be wrong, but I do feel like it's not viewed the same, because he still does. Even me, I view him as this young, a little boy, like a teenager. Like I don't. That's why I say the respect level for me comes in, because it's like I don't. There are parts that I'm not viewing him as being this man, and that's why I'm like, I know for at least for me, like you say, wholeheartedly. Like I tried.
Yeah.
I remember I left, came back, I went all the way to Atlanta, y'all.
She was in the States.
A whole different state. Couple months, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do it for my daughter. Wholeheartedly, I know now. Like we tried, but this is not it. This is really hurting me, not just mentally, but financially, physically, and spiritually, because it kind of was putting me in a space of, not kind of, it was putting me in a space of not knowing what to do, and feeling like my heart was just being constantly like pulled on all the time, because like this person wants me, but my heart and my soul and my spirit is like, I want you to go over here, because this is where you'll be least the least hurt at, versus if you keep staying over there, you're not doing anything but causing more turmoil in your life. And then I had to look at, and this is crazy, because I had to look at my mom, and she's cool with me talking about this, but I had to look at my mom too, and the relationships that she had growing up, and to see how I even, because I kept saying, I want to break generational curses, I want to break these chains. And then I was like, well, damn, how the hell am I doing that when everything that my mom did that I said I would never do, I'm now doing? And I was just like, all right, God, I hear you, spirit. And then I had to look at what I was attracting to, what I was being attracted to, because every time somebody else would come, it would be another version of
the same thing.
The same thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I
just
might
a
as
new
well
face.
just a new face. That's why I kept saying, I might as well go back to this person because it's
The
just
devil,
a new
know,
face.
not calling him a devil. Just
But
saying, like, the energy that you already are familiar with.
Yeah. And I was just like, dang, like, I've been familiar with this energy for so long, even as a child. I was around it all the time. Now it's like, when you do want to break away from it, it is hard. Especially when you first start, and especially if you got a child, it makes it even harder because you've built your life around that. So,
So if you don't mind me asking, because you said that there's something specific that you found in other people that you date as well. Not the people or anyone's name, but like, what are the traits that you found that you're like, this is something I need to deal with because I keep attracting this thing.
Brokenness. When I say brokenness, I mean from actually being broke to the family, the mom-dad dynamic. And it was weird. And I ain't gonna put no hood guys out there, but I always was attracted to the hood guys. So like, you might know him as Pookie or Ray Ray, but I know him as such and such, the first, middle, and the last name type thing. And I'm just like, I'm seeing how, I'll say Ray Ray. I'm seeing how Ray Ray then is his dynamic with his mom is, and I'm just looking at, well, damn, this other person that I was talking to, their relationship with their mom is that way too. Then I'm looking at me like, dang, my relationship with my mama is like that too. Then I'm looking at the dad, like the dynamic of the dad being in their lives. Like, granted, my ex, his dad was in his life, very much so, but it's a difference from having a parent being in your life and then having a parent nurturing you, like nurturing you, caring for you, just those aspects and instilling certain things into you that I feel will help versus hurt. And a lot of the people that I was talking to, it seemed as if like a lot of the things that they were being taught was, stuff that was being instilled to them was hurting them. Yeah, it's interesting. I met a lot of street, like, I was always into street dudes, like.
Why do you think? Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I know. Well, I actually, let me take that back. I do know. Okay. I didn't know my dad until when I was 10. I didn't really find out information about my dad until we talked recently in the past couple of years to find out my daddy was a hood booger. Okay. He was out in the street. My granddad was too, though.
Okay. And so what about that kind of person is attractive to you though? Like, what is it
I don't know. I guess it's
like you feel safe.
The security, like the way the presentation that they present. Okay. Like the way they dress. Something about, I ain't even gonna say it, but it's something about a certain way that the hood boys be dressing that just, woo! That's the way they be dressed. The freshness, and when they really put themselves together, it just attracts me. It's like that sexiness. It's like, it's almost like the roughness, but then at the same time, like having like this soft side. Like, I know that you is rough and you hard out on these streets, but I can make you soft. Like, that does something to me. It's just, it really does something to me, because it's like,
I think a lot of women can relate to that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of women can relate to that. One thing about women, we gonna want something different, try to change something, like
something.
Out in the streets, you can be rough, but with me, gentle.
Like, for real.
And bring out that side of you.
And that's really what did it for me, because, and then even I was always attracted to, still am, I'm working on it.
I'm a work in process, y'all.
People that were not gonna say necessarily famous, but known. And I think that came from my mom, though, as well, because like my mom, she didn't know that who she was dating until she started dating them and find out that they these singers and shit. Like, I used to travel with my mom so much that I became accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Like, my mom, she sang on BET. She was on the Bobby Jones show. She did a lot of networking and being with famous people that I was like, that's gonna be that part of life. Right. That's definitely going to be me. But as I got older, I was like, every time I attract these type of people, I'm always putting myself back in the same boat. Like, God, I just want to attract somebody that's a goat, but you wouldn't even know that person's a goat. Like, for real, like a low key goat. I'm tired of spotlight people. I've always attracted spotlight people. I've always attracted the dude that all the girls wanted, and I never could figure out why he wanted me. So it was like those type of things that I was attracting. And now I'm just like, oh, okay, I see where I was going wrong at, like the insecurity. Like, I was insecure, they was insecure, but I thought they were secure.
Right.
They seemed secure to me. Like, they seemed like they had everything going together, but a lot of insecurity.
What did the fashion represent to you? Because you're like, I like how they dress a certain way. What did that represent? Like, if they dressed this way, that meant what?
All right. If he got fresh pair of tennis shoes on, his outfit, his jeans ain't too fat. It's not too skinny. They fit perfect. It just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's something about that just turns me on. Like, or the sweatpants and the chill looks, but it's still like, y'all, I don't even know how to explain it. I just know that when I see a man in a suit, but what's been really been attracting me lately, I will say, is guys in suits. I've been seeing it. I just been like, oh, you's a working man. you's a working man. But I really don't know to answer that question. Like, I think it was just, I can say this, back in high school and middle school, when I really started getting into public school. I grew up in a Catholic and a Christian school. So by my third grade year, I was going to a public school, but it was in an uppity neighborhood, so they weren't tripping off of who got the best Jordans on and stuff like that. But when I got to a more diverse neighborhood, I'll say, those kids, you had all kind of kids. And no offense to people who are on Section 8, because I've been there before too. But a lot of their children, they're high up on Jordans, Nikes, and who got the freshest stuff on. Like, so when you meet kids like that and they now judging you, they like, you don't have the freshest stuff on. I started, wanting to be around people like that, because I was always around the cool kids, but now the cool kids got fresh pair of shoes on. Now I want to talk to somebody who got a fresh pair of shoes on, because they just the presentation looked good, but that's about it. It was just a presentation. Like, you packaged up very well. Not you're packaged up nice, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I was picking them. Like, if they was dressed nice, their hair was cut nice, even if they had hair, as long as they look good and their clothing looked like something that what I was seeing on Instagram or something like that, or at that time MySpace and Facebook, stuff like that. Like, I was on it because that was popping.
Right.
But now it's like, you can have what's popping.
You can have what's
I'm good.
popping. Okay. I'm hearing something, but I'm just trying to see if I'm supposed to say it. So that's why I'm just processing for a moment.
You fine.
Because I feel like the clothes represent something more than just I think that they have nice clothes.
See, that's the thing. If I could understand that part, I would be okay, because that's another part that does get me now. Still,
which the thing I'm thinking is not something that's like crazy that I think every woman does. But I feel like when a man presents a certain way,
like the money part, that's another thing too. I will say, if you dress a certain way, to me, it did mean you know what? I can say this. Thank you, God. The money. If you dress a certain way, you look like, I know Jordans, especially for dudes, that's like 1, 2 something. You got on, nowadays H&M don't cost that much, but back in the day, you got H&M on. That's a couple dollars for one shirt. Mm-hmm. Then you got the jeans on. Like, I know you got some type of dough. Like the clothing, I can say the clothing did represent money for me. Like, if you saw this person dressing this way, then it automatically instilled into my brain once I got around other type of people that this person had money. One whole time when I was back in my old neighborhood and niggas with money, they walking around with dusty, musty, crusty stuff on, but you would
right,
never
like
know.
The billionaires, how like they be.
Basically how the billionaires dress. Mm-hmm. But that didn't mean nothing to me because I was young. But as I go, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing my friend, she talking to this person and he dressed like this and he got this amount of money and yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, I think a lot of women are like that. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's at the form like a just you thing. I feel like as women, like we like can look for stability. Mm-hmm. I like further than it just being money. I feel like it's more a stability thing.
Now for me, at one point, I'm not gonna lie, it was about the money.
But it's the same. I'm saying, because you assume if someone has money, then y'all will be stable.
I wasn't tripping off
or
stability.
Things that not as a kid. I'm saying, yeah, as an adult, it grows. But you like, I want you to be able to stably buy me my chips every day. Yeah. Like for my little snack, or buy my lunch for me every day. Like it's something smaller when you're a kid. But I feel like a lot of times as women, like we can look at men like as how they present, because it's like, mm-hmm. I'm looking for stability. Can you give me that? Mm-hmm. Can you give me that? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's funny because I feel as though for me, there was a time. Well, I'm trying to see how I want to say this. Because I feel like I thought that for sure. Like I thought it was just like wanting a stability thing. Mm-hmm. And I do. Like I want a stable man, don't get me wrong. For mm-hmm. sure. For sure do. But I also realized that I had to personally find stability. And it wasn't even because, and at first I was saying it like, because like this kind of man gonna want a woman who's also stable. So I'm taking that out because I'm moving in some different chains of thought that I'm not gonna go into in this episode. But I couldn't attract something stable if I wasn't myself stable. But I realized that like it was very interesting though, my experience with it, because I was dating guys who were more stable too, but I didn't like them as a person. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I don't like you. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, like I don't like y'all don't have the other things. Mm-hmm. You know? So it was like times where I felt torn because it was like, well, I had this person who maybe wasn't as stable, but like great person. But then you're stable, but like I don't think I like you like as a person. And I feel like in those moments I had to really start to challenge myself about my thoughts around stability. And it's like, okay, clearly I don't want to just date for stability. Now I want both. I want personality and I want stability. Let's be clear. But for me, I kind of realized that I couldn't date just based on wanting stability because that wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, well, only way I feel like I can have that is I can truly date without only having that in my mind, was for me to become stable. So that way when I'm like out dating, it's like, I'm dating you because I like you. And if you're stable, that's also like a great thing as well. But I'm not dating you for that or mm-hmm. to give me that. And I say that because I feel like I was also in a situation before where I was with somebody I was with somebody who was more stable, but it's like I wasn't happy there. So it was like, I felt like that took a little bit from me too. So in that, I feel like that, like all of those combined experiences brought me to, I want to be able to genuinely date because I like the person and I also want them to be stable, but I don't want to date with the perspective of I need them to be stable for me. Because if I feel stable in my own, then I like, it's kind of like, there's some analogy that I can't think of right now. Dang, and I had it earlier, but It was like regarding my niece or something. It was like something totally different. But it was just the idea of just being able to be more authentic in my decisions and in my. It's kind of like when I moved out of the house. It was like I moved out of my family's house, and now I can make more genuine decisions to me because I'm not just saying yes because I need this circumstance to like work for me, or I don't want you to get upset and I gotta live in the house with you. Like I don't want that. So I have to be a certain way. Where like when I moved out, I was like, well, now I can just really be me. So I kind of feel the same in my dating. Like I want to be stable so that I can just date and truly just date because I genuinely like you and it makes sense for me, but not because I like necessarily need a thing for you from you type of thing. And it's different for women too, because I feel like men normally might be the ones that make more or whatever. I don't want men to make more than me, personally, you know. So I don't mind that, but I do want to always feel okay being like by myself, so that I'm never in a situation where I'm not happy again, because I've been in those. So that's kind of what I was thinking about when you were talking about like the things that attract you. Cause I feel like as women we do look like to a man for the stability. That's like that's what we're taught. Like we clean, we cook, we're the nurturers, and he makes sure the household is good.
But you see, that was where for me, it was something that I always heard, but I never saw.
Same.
I always saw my mom, even married, being the provider, the head honcho, like all of that. And I was just like, okay, it's a little different.
But yeah, this could easily go into like a 3-hour episode. Man. So we're gonna keep talking though, but I'm just gonna pause this, and we're gonna put this in a part 2 because I bet you my camera battery is probably about to die. So we're gonna just pause this. We're gonna make this a 2-part. It'll come out in the same week, y'all. So if this goes live one day, it'll come on. The second part will come out in the same week. So don't forget that, because I want to talk about that representation of relationships in the house. Okay, so do not forget. We're gonna come back to that for part 2, but I do want to close every episode out with all that we talked about so far. How are you deciding to be limitless? So I'll do mine first so that it'll kind of help. If you need help with the idea of how it works, is what did we talk about in the beginning of the episode? I was going to go off of the intel, but I feel like that'll be better for the second episode. So in the beginning, we were talking about time.
And being in a relationship with just the time and being in a relationship with people in the cards. What I picked.
Okay. I'm going to just say my one that's in my head. The next episode, I'll find another one. I am deciding to be limitless by, and I don't think I've touched it all the way, but by putting my stability more in God. Meaning, I know I'm always going to be stable because God has me. Even if I don't have me, even if another man don't have me, even if my family don't have me, like I'm always going to be stable because God has me. And that's how I'm tired to be limitless.
All right. To answer your question, I can honestly say, to help, say the question again for me so I can answer the question.
How are you deciding to be limitless? Yes. Like what are you dropping the idea of to be limitless?
I'm dropping the idea of just being perfect. And trying to be there for everybody but myself. Yeah, that's going to help me tremendously because I've been there for everybody, from helping people start their businesses to so many other things, and I've forgotten about myself. So in order for me to get what I need, I have to now put that time and love back into myself. So yeah.
Sure. That's good. Y'all, this was a really good conversation. And it's how it always be. So this is, as y'all can see, this is why I was like, I'm bringing my friends on, because it be some really good talks. So we're going to go ahead and start part 2. So if you want to see part 2, just come back later in the week. It'll be up. And then we're going to talk about like the perspective of relationships like based on what we saw growing up and kind of how we're navigating that now. So I'll talk to you guys next episode. Oh, you want to say your social? Like, how can they follow you, social media, all that stuff?
So, you guys, currently right now, I am fixing up my social media pages. So you can follow me on Instagram right now at Rightfully. That's RIGHTFULLY Royal ROYAL LC. That is my name on Instagram, Rightfully Royal LLC. Or you can just type in Talani Tillery, which is TALANEETILLERY, and I should pop up. You'll find me. That's right now.
And then you guys know you can follow me at Authentically Sean on TikTok, Instagram, and the Facebook that I don't be on, and YouTube. And YouTube where you can listen to this podcast. So, or you can watch the podcast if you're just listening. So, yes. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys next time. I love you. Bye.